Before we dig any, deeper, perhaps some of, the fundamentals, some of the basics for, also for those that are not that familiar with say Foresight methodologies and so on. So, well, I know my rationale here. I know the rationale of some others, but from your point of view, Noriko, what would you say, or how would you emphasize the key drivers on why to do Foresight, why to apply such methodologies, why is this type of work needed in the first place?
So there's a couple of things that I talk about for the reasons why. The first is that the rate of change is increasing. What we're seeing around the half-life of business models, what we're seeing about the half-life of skills, what we're seeing about the half-life of knowledge is all decreasing. And a second part to that is businesses and organizations need to keep across what is changing. If they want to understand what are the new services, what are the new products, if they want to understand how to remain relevant, they need to keep an eye on what's changing in the environments, in the industries, and in the communities and economies around them. Because that describes how their own services, how their own operations might need to shift and change as the world around changes. And one thing that's been a function of business is that for a very long time is a relative sense of stability. That yes, there have been shocks, yes, there have been shifts, but there was an element of understanding what might happen tomorrow, what might be the disruption and how quickly that might come. But with the rate of globalization, with the rate of information development, with digital technologies, with the fact that boundaries between industries are being eroded, the rate of change is significantly increasing. And then another thing that we look at is the fragmentation of user needs, fragmentation of how services are provided or products that are developed, as we are able to access increasingly niche needs, applications, services, and respond to problems that technologically we weren't able to respond to because the technologies just weren't powerful enough, they just weren't accessible enough, they weren't cheap enough. Now we're seeing all of those things come together, which is completely changing how we understand assets. It's changing how we understand our communities. It's changing how we understand users. And in combination, those things mean that business environment is just under complete and utter flux. The new product, the new service, the new user is increasingly closer and approaching faster. And if a company isn't responding and isn't identifying what might change, someone else will be. It's the nature of competition. It's the nature of the ability for new information, the nature of the fact that more people can access information, that it's easier for people to enter industries. It's easier for people to create new services because those barriers between industries are decreasing. So one of the things that Foresight and keeping an understanding of what's changing in the outside world can help to do is create situational awareness, create an understanding of what's in flux, what's changing, so that an organization or a group can make clear decisions as opposed to with an understanding of that uncertainty, with an understanding of what might change, instead of being reactive and just responding to what someone else has done. So in that sense, Foresight allows organizations to take a position of leadership because they've created what they think they want, or what they think they want the future to look like, and can start shaping the environment around them as well.
Oh, that's perfect. Well, a lot of thoughts are going through my head, obviously, but what keeps repeating, and I think in summary, what I hear you also sort of underlying is taking proactive action, right? So that the Foresight work that you do is not a standalone effort, but rather that you actually use it for taking proactive, informed decisions to really act upon the changes that are happening around you.